The woman hid in the bathroom and answered a sudden call from her husband, but just 2 sentences in, her face changed completely. She quickly and clumsily hung up. Right after that, a coworker walked into the restroom, not knowing whether her husband had seen anything. The first thing she did was ask her coworker to drive her home. On the way, her husband kept calling, worried that he might have figured things out. She declined every call, but not long after, her coworker's car ran out of gas. They had no choice but to stop at a nearby gas station. What they didn't know was that the car had already been tampered with. While her coworker filled up the tank, the woman went into the convenience store to grab a coffee, but when she walked up to pay, there was no one behind the counter. She placed some cash on the table and turned to leave. That's when she noticed a stack of magazines on the counter, stained red. Her instincts told her something was off. She decided to leave right away, but just as she reached the door, a shot rang out and hit her in the arm. Pain surged through her body, leaving her mind blank. She couldn't make sense of what was happening. Before she could react, another bullet came flying her way. She gritted her teeth and crawled behind a shelf, desperately trying to avoid getting hit. Another shot followed. Then, she noticed bullet holes in the glass. That's when she realized she was still within the sniper's line of sight. She quickly moved to the other side of the shelf and took off her jacket to wrap her wound as best as she could. Then she started calling out to her coworker for help, but he was still in the car, listening to music, completely unaware of what was happening. With no response, she crawled toward her phone to try and get help herself. She reached out to grab it, but just then, another shot. Her only way to contact the outside world was now destroyed. She was overwhelmed with fear, slumped on the floor, not knowing what to do next. A voice suddenly came through a walkie-talkie. It was a man. She stood up slowly, carefully scanning the direction the shots had come from. Then she grabbed 2 bags of chips from the shelf and tossed them out. They instantly drew the sniper's attention. She threw another, then rushed to the counter and grabbed the walkie-talkie. She told the man she was under attack and begged him to call the police. Just then, her coworker finally noticed something was wrong. The car hadn't even started, but the dashboard was flashing low fuel. He got out to check, only to find a hole in the gas tank. He rushed toward the store, but before he could understand what was going on, he was shot in the neck. Seeing him collapse in front of her, the woman was devastated. Completely panicked, she watched her coworker struggle, reaching out for help, only to be struck again by another bullet.